We are officially less than 5 hours away from the start of the 2021 NBA season. This is marking the 75th annual season of the National Basketball Association. To celebrate, here is one fact about every single one of the 75 seasons. Starting off in 1946, on November 1st, the New York Knicks played the Toronto Huskies, the first ever game of the NBA, except at that time it was called the BAA, the Basketball Association of America. In 1947, Wat Misaka became the first non-white player in the NBA. In 1948, the NBL, one of the first basketball leagues in America, ended its final season with the Anderson-Duffy Packers winning the championship. The NBL would later have a few teams go on to merge with the BAA, officially forming the NBA. In 1949, the Minneapolis Lakers merged over from the NBL. This season, they also drafted George Mikan going down to be one of the first ever NBA superstars. In 1950, Earl Lloyd became the first African American player in league history. In 1951, the league introduced what is known as the George Mikan rule, where the paint was widened from 6 feet to 12 feet to try and slow down the dominance of George Mikan. In 1952, Dick Schnitger scored 0.3 points per game in the finals series as the Lakers won the championship. Yeah, I couldn't find anything about this year. In 1953, the Minneapolis Lakers won their 5th title in 6 years. In 1954, the NBA added a 24-second shot clock. In the 1955 season, the league introduced the MVP award, where power forward for the Hawks, Bob Pettit, became the first MVP in league history. In 1956, the most winning player in basketball and possibly sports history, Bill Russell, was drafted. In 1957, George Yardley became the first player in history to score over 2,000 points in a season. In 1958, Bill Russell and the Celtics won their first of 11 championships. In 1959, the first class of the Basketball Hall of Fame was introduced, headlined by George Mikan and James Naismith. In 1960, the Lakers officially moved from Minnesota to Los Angeles, California. In 1961, Wilt Chamberlain broke and still holds the record for the most points in a season with 4,029 points. Wilt also put up a 100-point game this season, the most in NBA history. In 1962, Hall of Fame point guard Bob Cousy retired, with John Havlicek and Dave DeBusschere starting to take over the league. In 1963, the Boston Celtics won their 6th straight title. This set a record for the most titles straight in North American sports history. In 1964, to slow down Wilt Chamberlain and to slow down Bill Russell, the foul lane was widened from 12 feet to 16 feet. This season, we also saw Wilt Chamberlain traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. In 1965, Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell duel it out in a best-of-7 series, where Wilt averages 30 points and 31 rebounds, but yet Russell and the Celtics still win to go on for another championship. In 1966, after setting himself as one of the most dominant individual players in history, Wilt Chamberlain finally is able to win the championship. In 1967, the Seattle Supersonics, and at the time, the San Diego Rockets joined the league. This is also the first time the NBA had an 82-game schedule. In 1968, Wes Unseld became the second rookie in league history to win an MVP. In 1969, Jerry West became the first player to win the Finals MVP. He's also the only player to win the award while losing in the finals. In 1970, in only his 2nd season, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wins MVP and leads the Milwaukee Bucks to a championship. In 1971, the LA Lakers win 33 straight games, which is still the longest streak in NBA history. In 1972, the league changes free throws so that they would only happen on shooting fouls and on the 5th team foul. 1973 marks the first season that blocks and steals became recorded stats, making us speculate what Wilt and Russell could have averaged. In 1974, one of the most underrated centers of all time, Bob Mcadoo, won MVP while averaging 34 points and 14 rebounds. In 1975, the NBA copied the ABA, hosting a slam dunk contest. The contest would not then be brought back until 1984, where it has become a consistent event in All-Star Weekend. In 1976, the NBA officially emerged with the ABA, allowing Julius Erving to enter into the league. Here we also saw the Nuggets, Nets, Spurs, and Pacers all join into the league as expansion teams. In 1977, the Bucks made a 29-point fourth quarter comeback on the Hawks, the largest fourth quarter comeback in league history. In 1978, the Washington Bullets made a 3-1 comeback on the Spurs, but the Seattle Supersonics won their only championship in franchise history. In 1979, the three-point line was created. Magic Bird and Larry Johnson also entered into the league, where Magic had a historic performance as a rookie, where in the finals, playing the center position, filling in for an injured Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he would go on to score 42 points, 15 rebounds, and have 7 assists in the Lakers' victory. In 1980, the Houston Rockets made the finals with the worst record in league history, having a 40-win, 42-loss regular season record, but they would eventually lose to Larry Bird and the Celtics. In 1981, the Denver Nuggets scored over 100 points in every single game. They also gave up over 100 points in every game. This is the only time this has happened in league history. In 1982, the Defensive Player of the Year award is introduced. That year, Sidney Moncrief became the first winner, and he goes down to be one of only 5 guards to ever win the award. In 1983, David Stern takes over as commissioner, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar passes Wilt Chamberlain for the all-time points leader, a position he still holds today. In 1984, we see one of the greatest draft classes of all time, putting Hakeem, Charles Barkley, John Stockton, and Michael Jordan all into the league. In 1985, to avenge a finals loss from last season, Larry Bird and the Celtics dominate. Scoring 26 points and 10 rebounds per game, Bird led the Celtics squad to a finals victory. This year, we also saw the first ever lottery with the Knicks landing Patrick Ewing. In 1986, we saw Michael Jordan in only his second year put up a 63-point performance against the Boston Celtics. Once again though, the Lakers would go on to beat these Celtics in the finals. In 1987, Michael Jordan became the only player in NBA history to win the scoring title and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. We also saw legend Pete Maravich tragically pass away from a heart attack at only 40 years old. In 1988, Larry Bird only played 8 games due to an injury. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar retired as a 6-time MVP and the all-time scoring leader. In 1989, this is the first season where the NBA used the decimals on the clock. We also saw the establishment of the Trent Tucker rule, where the NBA decided that in last-second situations, it would take a player at least 0.3 of a second to catch and release a ball. In 1990, Scott Skiles recorded a record 30 assists against the Denver Nuggets. In 1991, Dennis Rodman averaged 18.7 rebounds per game, the most since 1972. Magic Johnson announced his retirement at the beginning of the season, and Bird retired at the end of that season. In 1992, the Suns beat the Bulls in triple overtime, led by coach Paul Westphal. The only other time there has been a triple overtime in the finals were the 1976 Phoenix Suns, a team that Paul Westphal played for. In 1993, the Denver Nuggets became the first 8 seed to defeat a 1 seed in the playoffs. Clyde Drexler is traded to the Houston Rockets, where he and Hakeem Olajuwon would go on to win the finals. In 1995, Michael Jordan's Bulls win 72 games, at the time the best record in NBA history. In 1996, the Utah Jazz make a 36-point comeback on the Denver Nuggets, the largest comeback in NBA history. In 1997, Jordan three-peats again, and along with Clyde Drexler, they both retired from the league. In 1998, Karl Malone becomes the oldest MVP winner in league history. In 1999, both Kobe and Shaq have their famous lob as the Lakers win their first of 3 championships. In 2000, the Lakers have a 15-1 playoff record, the best all time until that is tied by the 2017 Warriors. In 2001, the league outlaws illegal defense, allowing for teams to play zone defense as well as the defensive 3-second lane violation. In 2002, David Robinson announces his retirement from the league as Tim Duncan leads the Spurs to the finals. In 2003, the Lakers super team with Karl Malone and Gary Payton lose to the Detroit Pistons in the finals. In 2004, Shaquille O'Neal is traded to the Miami Heat, and Tracy McGrady also has his famous 13 points in 33 seconds. In 2005, Kobe Bryant has an 81-point game, the most points in a game scored since Wilt Chamberlain. In 2006, Dirk Nowitzki becomes the first European player to win MVP. In 2007, the Supersonics officially leave for Oklahoma City. In 2008, LeBron James wins his first MVP, and Kobe Bryant wins his first championship without Shaq. In 2009, we see Gilbert Arenas suspended for bringing guns into the locker room of the Washington Wizards. Ben Gordon also scored the 10 billionth point of NBA history. In 2010, LeBron James, Chris Bosh join up with Dwayne Wade to form the Big Three Heat, and Derrick Rose becomes the youngest MVP ever. In 2011, in the NBA shortened lockout season, LeBron James wins his first championship. In 2012, Steve Nash and Dwight Howard head to the LA Lakers in another super team attempt. In 2013, David Stern steps down as NBA commissioner, starting the reign of Adam Silver. In 2014, LeBron James heads back to Cleveland, and Kobe Bryant passes surpasses MJ in all-time scoring. In 2015, the Warriors win 73 games, as well as Steph Curry becoming the first unanimous MVP. In 2016, Russell Westbrook becomes the first player since Oscar Robertson to average a triple-double. In 2017, the San Antonio Spurs set a record of 21 consecutive winning seasons. In 2018, injuries cut the Warriors dynasty short, and Kawhi and the Raptors win the NBA Finals. In 2019, the NBA for the first time ever suspended the regular season and started it up again half a year later in Disney World due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, in 2020, Giannis Antetokounmpo caps off the season with a legendary 50-point, 14-rebound, 5-block finals performance in one of the greatest finals performances of all time. That is it. This is 75 random facts about the NBA from every single season. I put a ton of research into this, so I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That's it for this one. I'll catch you guys later.